We just studied the Sutram 2149. Purvakalaika sarva jarat Purana Nava Kevalaha Samanadhikaranena. Let us now take the next sutram in the Ashtadhyayi order, which is 2150. Dik Sankhye Sanyayam. We already referred to this sutram when we studied the Sutram 2149. Let us now look at this Sutram 2150 in detail. Vritya Sutram says, Tat Purushe Sanyayam Eva Dik Sankhye Samanadhikaranena Subantena Saha Samasyete. Recall that the adhikara of Samana Adhikaranena runs down from 2149 to the end of this first quarter of the second chapter of the Ashtadhyayi. That is why the Vritti of the Sutram 2150 says Samana Adhikaranena Subantena Saha. And of course we know the adhikara of Tatpurushaha, which runs from 2122 down to 2222. That is why the Vritti says Tatpurushe. So meaning of this sutram is, in a Tatpurushaha compound, a Subantam Padam denoting either a dik, which is a direction of the compass, or a Sankhya, a numeral, combines with another Subantam Padam referring to the same item, that is Samana Adhikaranena Subantena, only if the resulting compound denotes a proper name, Sanyayam. In the Sutram, the term Dik Sankhye is Strilinge Prathama Dvivachanam. The key here is the word only. Eva. Sanyayam Eva. Now, where did we get the Eva from? The Sutram does not say Eva. The first note here answers that question. Sanyayam Eva iti niyamartham sutram. This is the niyama sutram, the restriction rule. Compounding is already available by the sutram visheshanam visheshyena bahulam. All this sutram does is that if the prior member of the compound denotes either a direction of the compass or a numeral, it allows 2157 to apply only if the resulting compound denotes a proper name. This is what is called as Siddhe Sati Arambhaha Niyamarthaha, which means that when an operation is already made possible by another rule, when Panini still composes a rule which applies in a subdomain of that other rule, then it is to be understood that this subdomain rule is for the purpose of restriction. The subdomain is in the bigger domain for which the operation is already available. So there is no need to compose another rule just for the subdomain. The fact that Panini is doing that, which means that he is prescribing a restriction in that subdomain. We have seen this concept before. For example, Sutram 8224 Ratsasya comes right after Sanyogantasya Lopaha. Now what's the need for Ratsasya when we already have Sanyogantasya Lopaha? It is for the purpose of restriction, Niyamartham Sutram. So following a Repaha, the elision ordained for the last member of a Sanyogaha, of a conjunct, applies only for the letter Sa. That is a restriction. Similarly here, the compounding which is already prescribed by 2157 is allowed to take place when the prior member of the compound denotes either a direction of the compass or a numeral, only if the resulting compound denotes a proper name. Next note says Sanyayam iti kim. In order to understand the significance of the restriction Sanyayam, consider the following examples. Uttara Vrikshaha. Uttaraha Vrikshaha. The northern trees. Pancha Brahmanaha. 5 Brahmanas. No compounding is allowed here because the resulting compound would not denote a proper name. Uttara is a Digvachaka Shabdaha, while Pancha, Pradipadikam Panchan, is a Sankhya-Vachaka Shabdaha. And since there are no such northern trees by name or 5 Brahmanas by name, this compounding is not allowed here. This is how the Sutram 2150 restricts the application of 2157. The next note asks the question, how do we justify the construction of compounds like Purva Sutram, Uttara Masaha, etc., where the compounds do not denote a proper name? The answer is that in compounds like Purva Sutram or Uttara Masaha, Kosalaha, the terms Purva or Uttara do not denote a direction of the compass, but earlier or later in time. So Purva does not mean eastern, Uttara does not mean northern here. Purva means earlier in time and Uttara means later in time. So Purva Sutram means a sutram composed earlier. Uttaramasaha means later month, later in time. Hence the restriction imposed by this present sutram does not apply. Present sutram only comes into play if we have a Dikvachaka Shabdaha or a Sankhya Vachaka Shabdaha. Dikvachaka Shabdaha means one which denotes a direction of the compass, north, south, east, west, like that. Okay, let's take an example here. Uttara Kosalaha, the north Kosala territories. Note says we cannot form a Laukika Vigraha for this compound because Uttara Kosalaha is a proper name and a proper name cannot be expressed via a sentence. Nahi vakyena sanya gamyate. So sentence like Uttarashchate Kosalaha does not do justice to this compound. It only tells us what the Purva Padam is and what the Uttara Padam is. It is not a Laukika Vigraha. But of course every compound has a Alaukika Vigraha. In this case the Alaukika Vigraha is Uttara Jas Prathama Bahuvachanam plus Kosala Jas. Here the compounding is prescribed by the Sutram 2157 Visheshanam Visheshyena Bahulam because Uttara Jas is qualifying Kosala Jas. And the compounding is done with the permission of 2150 because Uttara Kosalaha denotes the name of those territories. For example, if we apply this logic to English, then we can say North America is a valid compound. North Dakota is a valid compound. Those are names of those regions. But if we say North New York, that would not be a valid compound. There is no such region named as North New York. Even in English, we don't see people saying North New York. They say northern part of New York State. So same logic works here also. Okay, the remaining steps are straightforward. As for the Sutram 1243, Prathama Nidishtam Samas Upasarjanam, the term Uttara Jas gets designation Upasarjanam because in the Sutram 2150, which allows the compounding, the term Dik Sankhye ends in the nominative case. And hence as per 2230, Upasarjanam Purvam, the term Uttara Jas is placed in the prior position in the compound. And now Uttara Jas, Kosala Jas gets the designation Pratipadikam by 1246 Kritadita Samasascha. We have formed a Samasaha that allows us to apply 2471 Supo Dhatu Pratipadika Yoho to perform the look elision on the sup affixes Jas and Jas which are inside the compound Pratipadikam. We get the final compound Pratipadikam Uttara Kosala. And as per the Sutram 2426, Paravalingan Dvandvatat Purushayoho, the compound Pratipadikam Uttara Kosala is masculine, since the latter member Kosala of the compound is masculine. Declines like Rama Shabdaha. Now as a convention, compounds which denote territories are used only in the plural. That's why we say Uttara Kosalaha. We can similarly construct the compound Navagrahaha, the 9 planets, means the sun, etc. by name. Suryaschandro Mangalascha Buzaschapi Bruhaspatihi Shukrashanaischaro Rahu Ketuscheti Graha Nava. So Navagraha is a valid compound because it refers to those 9 planets by name. But if we say Panchagraha, that is not allowed because there are no specific 5 planets by name that can be referred to as Panchagraha. So please remember this important sutram. Whenever we have a Samana Adhikarana Tatpurushaha and the prior member of the compound is either a Dikvachaka Shabdaha or a Sankhya Vachaka Shabdaha, then we have to keep in mind this restriction imposed by the Sutram 2150 Dik Sankhye Sanyayam.